Fresh fragrances that actually last in the summer, they're rare. But today I've got 10 different fragrances that don't just last during the summer, they crush it. And they also see their enemies driven before them and hear the lamentation of the women.
Crush your enemies, see them driven before you, and hear the lamentation of the women.
They're long lasting, they're fresh, and they smell incredible when it's hot outside. And to top it all off, I'm gonna give away a couple of freshies to you guys as well. These are fresh. Hey friends, forgot to say my name, Ash here. Welcome back to Gents. The first fragrance that we're talking about is this one, and it's actually a bonus fragrance. It's Valentino Uomo the Gold, born in Roma. Valentino the Gold Uomo, born in Roma. Valentino Uomo, born in Roma the Gold. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. So Uomo Gold is a special edition fragrance, a limited edition fragrance, and it's actually already pretty difficult to find, which is why this is essentially just a bonus one in this video. I've actually got 10 after this. You can still find it. You can, as of right this minute when I'm filming this video, but it's on JOMASHOP's website for like 165 bucks. So it is priced like something that's getting more difficult to find, you could say. And as is typical with fragrances of this style, and by that I mean limited editions, once it's sold out, the price is gonna go up even more because you're gonna have people trying to flip their bottles on eBay and stuff for a big jacked up price. Now in terms of the scent itself, it is not your more typical freshy summertime scent, okay? It has fresh aspects to it. It's got a nice freshness, but it's also warm and sweet at the same time. It actually has solar notes as one of the main things in here, but it doesn't come across like a big bunch of sunscreen or anything like that. There's also vanilla in here and spices, amber as well. Like I said, kind of warm and sweet, but at the same time, nicely fresh as well. It could even remind you a little bit of Valentino Uomo, born in Roma, Intense. It's kind of in that overall style. You know, you could draw an arrow from that one to this one, but it is fresher than that one, as you would expect by taking a look at that presentation style. So if you want something that can work during the summer, but just be aware it can also come across cloying if you spray too much on it, and you want something that has nice sweetness as well, check this out. And just like Valentino Uomo, born in Roma, Intense, it's also a great compliment puller. The names, they just get so long. And I think that technically the name of this one is Valentino, born in Roma, the Gold Uomo, which sounds so unnatural. At least saying it out loud in English, it just kind of doesn't really flow. From there, we move on to YSL's Y, the Eau de Toilette, the new version of the Eau de Toilette. Now, I do want to warn you guys, okay? And I've warned you before in past videos, but maybe you haven't seen those, maybe you forgot. Fakes. eBay especially, but other websites as well, like Amazon, you could be a little wary of that one, and Mercari and stuff like that. They are chock full of fakes. I'm talking floor to ceiling fakes as far as the eye can see, dude. I'm telling you, bro, trust me, dude, man, bro, Peebo, dude, man. Think about it, think about it. It's like the terracotta army in China, except fake fragrances as far as the eye can see. That's eBay. Now, to be fair, not everybody is selling fakes on eBay. There are lots of trusted sellers on there as well. Unfortunately, they're just sharing page space with scammers. And the reason I bring this up in particular right now with Y here is the Y line is heavily faked on there. So if you go to eBay and you see Y Eau de Toilette, Y Eau de Parfum, Y Le Parfum for a really, really good price, 99 times out of 100, you are about to get scammed. For example, Y Eau Fraiche. Okay, Y Eau Fraiche is pretty difficult to find nowadays. You go to any discounter, at least as of when I'm filming this, it's not there, not available. You look on eBay, you can find it for like 40 bucks, nice. It's fake. Phone up close. So here's what I'm talking about. You search Y Eau Fraiche on Google, look at that, $47.88, $47.49, both on eBay, both of these fake. So that's the end of my rant. I'm sorry, I know. I just hate to see people get ripped off, especially nowadays when like every purchase that you make really has to count, you know? So Y Eau de Toilette, this one right here, it's very fresh and sweet at the same time. Definitely a little bit fresher than this guy over here. And it's similar in some ways to, of course, Y Eau de Parfum that came after it, but not quite as heavy. with the sweetness, not quite as overwhelming potentially when it's hot outside. Perfect for just about any situation you find yourself in. Great office fragrance, work fragrance, good casual scent, date night fragrance. Why Eau de Toilette gets overlooked for a lot of the ones that came after it in the Y line, but this stuff is absolutely killer. And another one that is fantastic for compliments. I love it. In terms of notes, bergamot, ginger, lavender, clary sage, geranium, ambergris cedar, touch of vanilla. And speaking about vanilla, this next one's got a little bit of that too. Allure Homme Edition Blanche. Now this right here is like the fragrance community special, okay? It's something that's been hyped up for years and years and years. But if you're talking about your average person, they don't actually know about this one quite as much. You know, the original Allure Homme Sport, gonna be more popular. Allure Homme Sport Eau Extreme, gonna be more popular. And look, you could roll with one of those fragrances also. Either one of those would work for this video. But this one is a little more unique, especially for designers. So it's got lemon and bergamot off the top, a good amount of that lemon. Like I said, vanilla, solid dose. Also a number of different woody notes, vetiver and sandalwood in there. A lot of people will say this smells similar to a lemon meringue pie or a lemon cream pie. It's also got some fleeting characteristics in common with Xerjov's Uden, which is obviously more expensive than this one, though it is a Chanel, so it is more expensive than your typical designer. And now, while this one does once again have a good amount of sweetness, a lot of these fragrances do have a nice blend of fresh and sweet. The reason for that is because of the compliment factor that brings, the mass appeal. I have harped on it ad nauseum. You already know, fresh fragrances, sweet fragrances, put it together, it works, most of the time anyway. So Chanel Allure Homme Edition Blanche, this stuff is absolutely fantastic. And we move on to a crowd favorite, Aeros Flame from Versace. And the crowd goes mild. Now I'm just playing. A lot of you out there love Versace Aeros Flame, and it's grown on me too, I can't lie. One thing I will say though is a lot of times this will get me, that cap. I don't know if you guys have had a similar experience with some of your Aeros bottles, but it feels like the cap just kind of doesn't have too much grip on it after a while. So there have been times with Aeros bottles where I've tried to move them or something and I stupidly pick it up by the cap and that happens. Which can be a little not great when you're trying to take it off of a shelf, right? Reaching up here to pick it up from a shelf and well, now it's like super glued. Never mind. I swear to you guys, that never happens. Trust me, it doesn't happen, man. It's a one-time thing here. So Aeros Flame, this thing is great for spring, summer, early fall, frankly, year-round. You got mandarin orange in there, you have lemon, you've got kinoto, which gives it a really interesting twist, a little bit of an aromatic feel to it that the other Aeros fragrances don't have quite so prominently as this one. There's also pepper, vanilla, tonka, sandalwood as it dries down, also a little bit of floral notes in there as well. Great staying power, great projection, especially for a scent that you can pull off when it's nice and warm out. So when it first opens, you've got this really appealing citrus, like I said, that kind of aromatic feel in there, a little bit green. As it dries down, sweetens up a bit. Super easy to wear, kind of underrated in a way, because when you look at Aeros fragrances, as far as like what's selling at retail, what most people are buying, it's the Eau de Toilette, it's the Eau de Parfum, to a slightly lesser extent the Parfum, and then Aeros Flame is like the one that sells the least, and yet it might be the best one, at least for a lot of people out there. So Aeros Flame, easy choice. Gotta put that in there. And of the fragrances we've talked about so far, Aeros Flame has one more good thing going for it. It's the cheapest of the bunch. That never hurt. Yeah, guys, come in closer. Keep this between us. Keep it on the down low. You can make it even cheaper with these coupon codes. So the Gift Express code is gonna be the biggest one of the bunch right now, 15% off. Interestingly enough, Maple Prime and Gift Express both started off with 10% codes. Gift Express said make it better, Maple Prime said make it worse. But yeah, couple new codes there. The Maple Prime one though does come with free shipping. Got codes for JOMASHOP that only work within the JOMASHOP app. Those change every quarter. And then of course the perfume box, you gotta check them out for insane deals on clone fragrances. They've also got designer and niche as well. So just a bunch of codes you can use to save yourself some money should you so choose. So we had a red bottle, let's go blue bottle, and this is Trothy Blue. This one's by Offnon. It is a clone fragrance, a dupe. Another one that's kind of weird presentation-wise, and that's because of the bottle shape. And I've spoken about this before, but it's kind of, you see that? Kind of wobbly. Now these ones over here, look at this. Sturdy, sturdy. This one, that ain't sturdy. If you just give it a little tip, it's done. Give this one a little tip. Ooh, no sir, snapped right back. But that's not a big deal because most people out there are not strange and they're not going around tipping their bottles over. But I have knocked this one over on accident more than once. It's like a dude who is very juiced up. He's got friggin' enormous traps, just huge shoulders, never works out his legs. He has skipped leg day. And you see what happens. That's on you, Trothy. That's your fault. Smells friggin' great though. It smells really good. Lasts a long time. And interestingly enough, a bunch of citrus in here. Good smelling citrus, high quality citrus. A little on the sweeter side, you know, not so much of that like rindiness, sour aspects, not so much of that. It smells like Bulgari Tiger, only way cheaper. So Trothy Blue, gotta put this in here. You guys know, pretty much everybody knows about that, right? Let's go blue again, this time Percy Ball. Yes, Percival from the house of Parfums de Broly. All the bros love the Parfums de Broly. And it makes sense why, like 90% of them are just kind of niche fragrances with 1 foot on the designer side of the line and 1 foot on the niche side. I said that right, designer and niche, that's what I said. And what I mean by that is they're made with niche quality, niche ingredients, so they do smell a little more expensive than your typical designer, but then they are clearly made to be worn and worn often, just like a designer fragrance would be, instead of being like, you know, hyper artistic and the type of scent that you pull out as a party trick, which I've got dozens of those. And it is really funny. I know some of you out there can kind of empathize with me here, and you're like, oh, I do the same thing. But I got a lot of fragrances, right? Niche, designer, everything else under the sun, indie. And when somebody is at the house, like, oh wow, you know, let me check out some fragrances. I don't typically go for like the white eau de toilettes first, right? I'm not like, hey, check this out. I go for like Zoologist Bat, or I go for Secretions Magnifique, or I go for, you know, something like that. A hyper ultra realistic tobacco fragrance where it smells just like a tobacco leaf. And I'll be like, here, check this out, because I want to see their reaction. But I know full well that they're not gonna go, I would wear that every day. They're gonna go, ha, what the? And I watch it and just go, excellent. But maybe we eventually work our way to these, right? I digress. This one, Percival, you know, it smells similar, that was a sloppy catch. Smells similar to Abercrombie & Fitch Fierce, Mont Blanc Legend, only it is, frankly, a little bit more modern at this point. Like I said before, higher quality, solid staying power, outperforms those two at this point. Fierce back in the day used to be really strong, from what I remember. You would walk into any mall in America and it was like you opened the door, it didn't matter where Abercrombie & Fitch was inside the mall. It could be like the other end of the mall and you'd be like, that fierce. Not so much nowadays. So you've got citrus in here, you've got lavender. Why'd I spray it on again? You also have some additional floral notes in there. Amber, nutmeg, tonka, cardamom, some of the other notes in the fragrance. You can use this anytime you want. Don't matter, daytime, nighttime, whenever. People love the stuff. And you can also go with Sedley, another good choice for summertime. Let's go Nitro Red Intensely next. This one by Dumont, and they did improve something in the presentation. It looks about the same other than the glass. The glass is different, but they gave it a magnetic cap. And it's interesting because it's a heavy magnetic cap. Like when you feel this, it's got decent heft to it. And it's not really the type of bottle you want to pick up by the magnetic cap. Again, you shouldn't be doing it, but I do. I have collected fragrances for so long and I still do it, which means I'm always going to. I accept it. So this one does smell similar to the original Nitro Red, but wozers bozers, man. There is some fruit off the top here. Sweet. There's apple, there's peach, there's bergamot, there's melon. It does leave a little bit of like an oil slick where you spray it on your skin, so be aware of that. This stuff lasts and it projects. So this is gonna be for somebody who really wants to kind of pump it up a bit, but it is still fresh at the same time. It's just a little more balanced toward the sweet side. You've got amber in here, sea salt woods as it dries down. Also could remind you a little bit of fragrances in the Invictus style, just like the original Nitro Red. It's basically just a richer, higher quality, more powerful version of the original Nitro Red with a really nice sweet fruitiness in there. The next fragrance that blesses us is Light Blue Capri in Love from Dolce & Gabbana. This one is fig based, fig forward. So it's gonna give you a different feel from most other summertime scents. It's a little bit closer to something like Fico di Amalfi. by Acqua di Parma, something kind of like that. Now, obviously not the same as Fico di Amalfi, just saying the way that the fig hits, maybe it could remind you a little bit of that. And Dolce & Gabbana kind of on a fig kick here lately, so this one has fig, and then the new K also has fig, but that one is a caramelized fig. So they're leaning into it. They're leaning into it pretty heavy. It is fresh, but like I said, a different take on freshness. It adds patchouli in there as well, which gives it like this faint earthiness. Not in a way that's like dirty earthy, but just of the earth, if that makes any sense. And I should also say this one is potentially a little bit more hit or miss than some of the others. So in the air, I really enjoy it, but I'm a big fan of fig notes in general, and just about any way that they're used, as long as it comes across like fig. What I mean by that is sometimes you'll have a fragrance that's like, oh, this has fig in it, and then you smell it and you're like, at least I can get it here, and I appreciate that, but it's not gonna be for everybody. These ones over here are gonna be safer overall. Not that this is crazy or anything like that, it's just like, for example, my wife. She has smelled this sometimes and been like, oh, it smells pretty good. And other times she smelled it and been like, nah, I don't really like it. Same fragrance, but different reaction. And that could happen to you. Let's go niche again. Meisto Gintilo by Xerjoff, part of their Casa Murati line. And look, you can see that it's a gentleman because it has an itty bitty super tiny bow tie. That's high class. So the original Mephisto is essentially Xerjoff's take on Creed Silver Mountain Water. Kind of right in that style. And this one also could absolutely remind you, and probably will, of Silver Mountain Water and the original Mephisto as well. In terms of notes, you have lavender in here along with a bunch of citrus, violet, iris, musk, cedar, and amber. And it does smell like a smoother, soapier, cleaner take on the Silver Mountain Water DNA. It's not quite as inky, not quite as metallic. Instead, it leans a little bit powdery at times, but still maintains that Silver Mountain Water essence, that Mephisto essence. Great staying power, a big compliment puller, and absolutely something that is going to tick all the boxes if you're looking for, as the name and get up would suggest, a classy men's fragrance for when it's hot outside. Go low DC next, a little low DC, eau de parfum, brother. It's a newer release, 2025, nice little wooden cap. It's fully wooden the whole way through, no plastic whatsoever. And the fragrance is kind of in line with what Issey Miyake has been doing here lately with their low DC fragrances. So if you've kept up with that, they've got a lot of fragrances that are kind of like mixing woods with aquatic feel. Woods with aquatic feel, yeah, it's a great description. But they have a bunch of different flankers like this one and this one that are kind of doing that. Oh, and this one. So yeah, just a lot of different fragrances where it's like, oh, this is low DC, but with different woods. And this kind of, you know, follows along with that to an extent. Sichuan pepper, cedarwood, balsam fir. That's your note breakdown. Yep, one of those 3 note breakdowns. Yay. The get up of the bottle, the whole design, this kind of like silver gray look, does get across pretty accurately how the fragrance smells. You know, it has some of that throwback feel to the original low DC, but it's not quite as bracing with the citrus, though there definitely is citrus here, even though it's not in the note breakdown. It does have a nice little touch of tartness to the citrus, which I really enjoy. Also very fresh. The woodiness in there, modern, clean, classy, and the staying power is great as well. And I would say for a lot of people, probably like 25 and up, this would be great. If you're younger, you're looking for something that's sweeter, that's not super duper sweet. Like I said, there's citrus in there, but it comes across a little bit more tart with like fleeting sweetness, along with that fresher aspect that it has. Giveaway time. So these are a couple of fragrances from Parfums Vintage that I have had for a long time, and they would be great for summer. So I want to give them to one of you out there who can actually wear these and get some use out of them. So citrus number 1 is this one right here in the brown cap, and the black cap here is Expat Intense. So in case you're unaware, this one right here, citrus number 1, that is a clone of Neo by Xerjoff. Pretty expensive, honestly, these two. And then Expat Intense is like Sauvage mixed with Ventus. So a little hybrid action, hybridization. So for this giveaway, usual stuff, guys. You see it over here, here it is. Like the video, be subscribed to the channel, leave a comment, can't be entered if no comment. Pick a winner about halfway through the following month and post that winner up on the post tab of the channel. I'll pick the winner via random comment picker, and then ship these out to you wherever you find yourself in the world. Final fragrance, guys, is MCM Onyx. It looks like a little bag. And this is one of those fragrances that kind of dilly-dallies in the realm of smelling similar to Sauvage. So it's kind of in that style. You can get it for a decent price from discounters, and the presentation is pretty unique. I actually don't mind it. Got the atomizer built in right there. That's kind of cool. Note-wise, you've got pink pepper, ginger, and grapefruit off the top, lavender, violet as it dries down, tonka, clearwood, and vetiver in the base. So yeah, it's not quite as in your face as Sauvage, but the staying power is there, lasts a long time. Another one, obviously great for compliments if it's in that similar style to Sauvage. Also could work as an alternative to Luna Rosa Carbon, because that one also similar to Sauvage. Got maybe a little more of like a upper-ended sweetness to it when you first spray it on compared to Sauvage Eau de Toilette or Eau de Parfum. The Eau de Parfum has a little more of that, like the vanilla in the base as it dries down. This has tonka, but then it has more of like a woody aspect that comes through when you compare it side by side with Sauvage. So a little bit like Sauvage with the twist, but still, if you want something that's easy to wear, extremely versatile, it will do it. So there we go, guys. There are the fragrances. A nice lineup here of different things. Got some cheaper stuff, some more expensive stuff, but everything here. For summertime, it'll last, it'll get you noticed, and have you smelling unreal. So again, the giveaway, if you want to be entered in that, thank you guys for hanging with me. Stay safe out there, take care of yourself. See you tomorrow with another fragrance video. See you guys.